Hi, I'm Daniel, and 2 years ago I ranked all the winners of the Best Animated Short category at the Oscars, which was a three-part project. I'm really proud of how it turned out. The next step looked to be ranking the live-action short winners, but there was quite a lot of problems with that plan. First of all, these are hard to find, as while most animated shorts can be searched on YouTube, a lot of these you have to track down on strange websites, or the outright lost media. This literally removes discussing all another option, but also it's not interesting as there's little range. Animation can cover your styles, tropes, and characters, and it's visually interesting to switch between images. Live action shorts, especially given most of these on low budgets, are limited to human stories that get old fast. And there's also a very similar type of short of social issue tackled in simplistic way with contrived drama that is easy to get sick of. It can be hard to disagree with the bad reputation this category gets after watching a lot of them and getting more sick of this format just to find some great ones. Because even many that are good still stick to that formula. There's also the point that there's 123 winners, as at one point there was 2 winners a year, and over a third of these are documentaries. This creates confusion as to the documentary short category, and it can often be hard to talk about than fiction. This yet me having watched 49, which may technically be under half, but without documentaries, it's most of them. I made sure to watch all in the past 20 years to get into the recent winners, and all with Yetbox average above 3.4. There's probably still one or two that would have made this if I saw it. But I feel content enough with all I've watched, and I want to bring back top 10s to discuss the thing about having seen everything. Just think of it as similar to count down the best films of the year without having seen everything. Anyway, for as much as I just criticise the other winners, I want to make clear that I still love short films, especially when it tells a story and accomplishes it right so well in less than 40 minutes. There is many cases where the Oscars get it right, and more so in recent years, which can be seen with how modern centre parts yes are. There's also some very classic short films to talk about. So, what do I consider the 10 best live action short films? Alright, then, I like found numbers to why I titled it this way, but I thought we're only yet and I really want to talk about this yes, I might as well add an extra extension because I can. A Yethan, Dear Diary, it's weird for a failed TV pilot to go on and win a short film Oscar. It's also strange to find this were made by DreamWorks and directed by David Frankel, who made small movies you might not have heard of called The Devil Wears Prada. While I'm not sure I see it working as a full series, I really like the vibe this has with the music played throughout and the overall energy. BB Newer gives a great lead performance, with a very satisfying voice to listen to as a sarcastic narrator. I like how the story she gets into, and the general way it's about York works out for us doing good causes good to come. I like the format this is told in, and it's just a very solid short. I liked enough to add an reference yacht to before the normal top 10. 10. Six Shooter. The short film that Matt McDonough won an Oscar for, before Yates directed some films that got Oscar nominations, and Wild Horse not Yates this year, yeah. This shows his skill for comedy and drama at the same time very well, with Brendan Gleeson giving a very strong performance of a grieving man. The awkward vibe found in this young trained general, others also grieving, is the great backdrop. I like how it makes the audience feel the same as Donnie, getting to care about Kid despite him being a bit much, but as it goes on you find out more about him and that changes. It does devolve into a shootout, which I'm not a fan of, but the intentionally dissatisfying ending is very effective as something you're yet as it finishes, in this great short film. 9. The Most Out of Pickpockets. This is one that barely anyone has seen, but it's great. It's a plot I can see working as a feature, but it is still fun the way it is, with me liking the dynamic between this duo and the exchanges they have. I like them meeting this deaf kid who's a master pickpocketer, and the schemes they get into stealing. The two guys in a child setup just works here, and it's done in a well shot and acted way. It's just likeable, even if little actually happens in it, and an ending that just stops, even if it's funny at that. A good watch that has the appeal of many of those crime comedies that people like for a reason. 8. Star in the Night. I love a Christmas special, and the feeling of seeing was probably one of the earlier ones back in 1945. The atmosphere of the season, when done so earnestly, really lands with all the music and Christmas carriers really setting the tone here. The black and white cinematography looks very beautiful, and it's just a nice vibe to sit with. The conflicting ideology on if people can be good and Nick change mind across the runtime is very interesting. I like the conversations here and that overall character arc, The parallel nativity story around the motel is another nice aspect here. This is yikey nothing you haven't seen before, but I find it great and worth a watch this December. I'm just talking about it in the summer because 7. The Music Box. This was the first year of the category in the 30s, and it's great. It focuses on Euro and Hardy, who were in a large amount of short, which I haven't seen yet, but if this is an indication I probably should. The dynamic of two idiots, just with one more confident and angry than the other, is just funny and makes it an enjoyable watch. I like the interactions around the difficulties of transporting a piano up the stairs and into the house. You do feel the frustration alongside them whenever you have to start from zero, but the way they act around it stops it coming off mean-spirited. There's such great slapstick here, helped with great camera work and music. The piano constantly making noises, just so funny every time. I could just describe some jokes, but thinks it's best to watch than hearing it be explained. This drags just a bit to reach 30 minutes, but has enough going for it to say a great short. 6. An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. This one is apparently mainly known for how it's using the Twilight Zone, but I watch it because it's one of the higher rated Oscar winners and it deserves that. The black and white cinematography has such a style to it. The grey field and the bridge is such an instantly gripping set piece to look at, and the water splashes are even more of a visual highlight. It's an engaging story where a man about to be executed and rooting for his escape to try and get back home. While not a shocking twist, that ending is very impactful and excellent at what it's saying. I don't want to say more. I would say watch it, but it's the only one yesterday I couldn't find on YouTube on FX. 5. The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. I really like Wes Anderson's style and most of his filmography, with this short film being what he won an Oscar for. It does feel a bit unfair for this to win a category, as not only were his 4 Netflix rolled out shorts meant to be a feature, it seems better to award an up-and-coming filmmaker, rather than his already big director working with several prominent actors. At the same time, I'm glad he has an Oscar and for a great short film at that. Daryl's dialogue being spoken by staring at the camera and speaking in third person about themselves is just so fun to me. The actors are very good at delivering these lines with Ray Fiennes, Benedict Cumberbatch, Ben Kingsley, Richard Ayoade, and especially Dev Patel adding a lot to this. The story inside the story of a man who can see without looking, and this other man learning the skill to cheat at poker, only to later have a change of heart, is a nice arc to watch, alongside cinematography being so colorful and satisfying. The score also just sounds very pleasant. A couple of parts a week like the Imad story, and it feels like it's on 2 times speed the whole way through, but I still find it great. 4. The Neighbour's Window. I've heard many not like this one, but I find the main conceit interesting. For as much as the grass or green on the other side of the fence is known, it's effective to show that idea in this way. This married couple with children being able to see his other couple through their window is executed in a way that's funny, but also works in a way its comparison affects them. I like how it didn't make them too unlikable, just showing them missed their 20s and the closeness they had during that. I like how this shows the other side of witnessing others and getting comfort from it. The emotional scene near the end is effective, and stopping seeing them as some idealistic fancy that doesn't exist is an interesting message. The lighting and how it is framed is also interesting, if not the best visually here. It's sometimes overly corny, like a song choice in the middle, but its highs are really amazing. 3. The Singers. It's good that I can give fair place to the most recent winner. Well, one of them. This year had one of the Oscars' few ties, where this won alongside 2 people exchanging the either. I also like the style went for, that can be treated an honorable mention. I am glad both got to win, but I was very rooted for this, and it's one of my favourite wins that ceremony. This short is so beautifully shot, while staying grounded when showing off this bar. It's a fun, simple plot of a singing competition starting at this bar, with just the odd great singing voices heard. It's nice to listen to, and you just feel the strange comfort found in this piece during a cold night. The way it contrasts the loneliness outside and the way it starts, and seeing these men get to express themselves just really works, with that hug at the end should feel cliche, but it doesn't when watching. The first half is a bit weaker. This is such a funny and moving experience. Watch on Netflix. 2. Curfew. This is a rare action short winner that accomplishes being feel good without being forced in any way, because of how cynical, dark, and realistic this can be at the same time. Especially that opening and the point in which you start this character. This plot of Richie being called a Yasper took after his niece for a few hours creates such an enjoyable pairing to watch. How different they seem, but the subtle ways the connection grows to be genuine really works. Sean Christensen is so great as a director and lead actor here, with the once voice of Dora for Tina Pacheck being equally strong across these interactions. I see why this was strong enough to get expanded to the film before it disappeared. That's also amazing. But I ultimately still prefer this short, keeping the story focused on that central dynamic. That also looks great and is very showy from a cinematography perspective in certain scenes, especially his one music bit. It's also kind of quite funny. It's mainly this betrayal of his life being burdened, but only needing one unexpected lifeline and human connection to regain that. The full circle storytelling really hits here. A very powerful Oscar winner that I really love. 1. I'm Not a Robot. 3 of the top 5 came from the past 4 years, so they're on a great streak of awarding winners. I consider Point Curfew at number 1, but had to go with the absolute power that came from a funny idea in this. This plot of failing online capture, leading to an existential crisis for Yora, is a good one, and I like how it keeps that comedic value while developing into something dramatic. It's really well shot and cool looking throughout, especially the design of that workroom and all the bits with mirrors. It does a lot to get you attached to this character in a short runtime, carried by an amazing performance from Ian Parron, selling the comedy and horror of this situation. I like the way it tackles this concept realistically, and having you understand a certain character choice, even with how messed up it's made, especially from this perspective. This conflict is just really interesting, with the angle on what free will is while being trapped in this role. I like how it doesn't feel a need to make some big statement and just explore this what if scenario I'm yet to play out. And that ending, it really stings at its point it's made, and that music choice to creep really lingers. The movie Companion released around the same time as that Oscar season, and it's quite similar. That's a great movie I like more than most seem to, but it's just a better version of that concept. And in my opinion, it's the best live action short Oscar winner. In conclusion, I hope you enjoyed this video having discussed these shorts that many watching probably haven't seen. I made a playlist taking many of these on YouTube, plus a few extras that are also good if you want to watch any I've talked about. This was a fun video to recommend some of these. And now that I've talked about winners for animated and live action shorts, what about the winning features in both mediums? Before that, I'll probably have some other videos coming soon. Like one going over a certain infamous film from the same Oscars I'm Not a Robot. Also, with my Gumball videos recently doing well, I'll try to release the season 3 ranking in September, so look out for that. The end.